Very dear students, colleagues and friends, very warm welcome to Dr. Ahmed YouTube channel. Today again there is Toufiq Rafat's poem. The title of the poem is The Time to Love. As the title goes to reflect, the poem is about love. The passion for which almost all the world becomes mad and all the world wants to indulge into it. But still it is a matter which is fresh in the human life even today. Every new generation does have passion about that. And for this, all the songs of the word, all the beauties of the word, all the flaws of the words are created to make it feel as good as beautiful. But here the poem by Toufiq Rafat is unique in itself. It's not a very long poem, it's a very short poem and gives the message of the power and strength of love. And it also goes to talk about the universality of love and the passion of universality of love. It also talks about the power of love. It also talks about the kind of influence it has upon the people. Toufiq Rafat, is a Pakistani poet, and he is ranked among Makki Qureshi and that is other good ranking poets of Pakistan, as I have been mentioning in some other videos of mine. You can go there and find out in detail. However, we can say that Toufiq Rafat is a person who was born before Pakistan in 1927, and so he had got the flavor of the colonized Pakistan, as it was not created, but still the land was there. And also he spent a long life in Pakistan. In the 90s he died, and during that time he had an opportunity to not only learn about life of Pakistani people but also to express in Pakistani English, and that is why his poetry is purely Pakistani poetry in English. And he therefore conveys the message through using his Pakistani English and Pakistani idiom in a very detailed way. Though this topic of love is universal, but still he talks about in a sense that it makes feel like it's Pakistani one, because the poem is very close. As you will read the poem, you will find it's very close to ghazal. The ghazal, the genre in India, which is the most popular genre of poetry all over the world. And it gives the same type of flavor as we have in ghazal. The same type of flavor this poem is going to have. It is resembling up to some extent many of the love stories. Same is the case here. The power of love has been talked about. Let us see what is significant in this poem with respect to love. The poet says, first of all, the time to love is when the heart says so. Who cares? It is muddy August or tepid April. So first of all, it is the time which is being suggested. What is the time for love making? He says that love knows no time. It can come to anyone at any time. It is not fixed with the weathers or the months. For example, it's not fixed with August. It's not fixed with April. April is the month, full of flowers and good smells, as Joseph would say in his prologue. And in the same way, August is going to be a muggy type of month when there is a lot of clothes and heat as well. Who knows better than Pakistani people about the month of August? So in these two weathers, love can come there. It doesn't look that weather is like August or it's like April. It comes its own self. If it is possible to feel love in the month of April, it is possible to feel it in the month of August as well. So these lines go to suggest that there is no particularly fixed month or timing for this. It is unbound with time. It's not bound with time at all. It is timeless. It can happen at any time, And with the same tone, the poet continues and says, for love's infallible feet step saintly from vantage to vantage to the waiting salt lake spring. So in that way, a few more lines if we can talk about that. It is love which possibly continues to walk everywhere. It can tread everywhere. It can go to the highest and beautiful points also. And then it can come to the spring also, which is being said to be salt lake. It means beautiful. It means tasty. It means very good one. He says that everywhere, every time, in every kind of weathery conditions, maybe it's a good weather, it's a bad weather, it's a good season or bad season, love is all the time there. It is available. The poet further says, has any importance as far as the rhymester who need a board to perch on while we sing. These two lines are then again about the rhymesters, the poets, the common poets, he says, and assumes himself to be the common poet by saying that this type of love has great importance for the poets, that we need to sing the songs of love and will perch on or sit on any branch and then talk about love matters as well. This is the job of the poets, and they have been doing so. The poet compares and equates himself with a common type of poet and says that he needs this topic, he needs to talk about this because it's a universal, lovely topic, and he can do so. That is why love is important for the poets also. Love is important for the song singers as well. And the next tone, the poet says, love is a country with its climate. Love is a country with its climate. So the last three lines again go to suggest about the vastness of love by talking in the sense that love is a big state, it's a big country, and it is having its own climate. It doesn't need to make any other climate. So one can suggest in a way that love is a force, is a power which can make its own place, which can make its own timing, which can make its own availability at any time, at any space. So it's not bound with time, it's not bound with space, it's not bound with any person. It is available everywhere. The matter is to that the people may be feeling for this. So in this way, the poem utilizes the metaphor of love in a very vast, in a very big way, that if love is there, it can come at any time, it can come and be felt at any moment, at any space. It's not bound with age, it's not bound with timing, it's not bound with space at all. So in that way, universality, vastness, powerfulness of the love has been suggested by using it as a metaphor. Not only this, we can also say that the poem is so small, it still carries certain parts in it. We can say, first of all, the poet talks about the timing, and later on the poet talks about weathers, and ultimately he declares that it is not bound with timing, not bound with weather, it is vast, it is universal, it can create its own environment. So in order to feel the presence of love, one doesn't need to wait for some month or wait for some space or wait for some other thing, it comes automatically. So in that way, the refutal has been made about the fixture of love with certain specific timing or specific spaces. He says it's not the case at all. It's a free verse and full of Pakistani idiom. It has been not given any type of special rhyme scheme. However, some of the beautiful words are present here, like it is the Rhymesters. For the poets, the word is being used. The same can be used for chirping birds as well. And then the climate, it be related to ecology, that it creates its own climate as well. It is just like having a sphere of earth and then the climate as well. So it is the climate of earth which one can make or which one can create beautifully with the help of love. Same is the case with the Salt Lake Spring. Spring, if we relate it with the month of spring, spring is a month of beauty. It's a month which comes taste, which everybody likes that. And then the poet also says that love is infallible, feet step saintly. That love is a saintly kind of thing. It comes very, very normally, very calmly, very peacefully, and it doesn't create any noise when it comes there. It comes peacefully like a saint. Same is the case with the muddy August, how beautifully the adjective has been used in order to convey the month of August, when the rains is there, when the mud is there, when the hot season is there. And then tepid April. April is the month where love matters can be at the height. In many of the poems, the poet have been indicating the April month to be the most suitable month for love, not only among the human beings, but also among the animals, but also among the birds. So that is why, by using such words, the poet had heightened the importance of the language that he uses there. On the whole, the language is going to be very beautiful. One can also concentrate on some of the technical aspect that the poet has put a question. If it is muddy August or tepid April, who cares? I mean, for the sake of love, nobody needs to care that these months may be available or these spaces may be available. So the poem doesn't carry any special punctuation marks, so that is why it's 100% simple and can be understood very easily. One can, while writing the critical appreciation, one can take care of the importance of poetry of Toufiq Rafat and compare it with some other poets of Pakistani origin, and you can also compare it with some other English or American poets also, to let it know that how the space of Toufiq can be fixed inside poetry. And secondly, you can talk about the substance, or the very brief summary of the poem, and later on you must divide it into three parts. First part may be introducing the poem with respect to the summary and the lines of the poetry, and then the second part and the third part. In three parts you may explain that by quoting the lines of the poetry from the poem. and then explaining them one together. After that, bring the critical appreciation matter, talk about the language, talk about the metaphor of love, talk about the three things used inside that. That is the months, the timing, then the space or the season, and after that, the poet talks about the universality of love. And later on, as the theme of poem is going to be universality of love, powerfulness of love, and its overpowering nature of love. That should be the theme, and that should be explained in that way. And ultimately you can talk about the words, number of lines, and the parts of the poem also. Then think about the title, The Time of Love. I mean, it's a question also, it's an explanation also, it's a kind of statement as well. When we talk about the question, we can say that the poet is asking, do you think that there's a time for love, or it is not the case? And secondly, if we say that the poet is asking, telling us that the time for love has come, it means that all the time for love is there, it is universalness or universality. And ultimately, if it is just a kind of statement, then definitely it's the message. So in the title, the message, the theme of the poem is available. And then try to compare it with the timing in which the poem has been created, within Pakistan, without Pakistan, and so in that way your critical appreciation will be complete. And then definitely you would like to give a positive note that this poem is really very beautiful one. So that was the poem of today. Hopefully some of the understanding has been improved, or even everything is lost. Read it, listen it again, you may be getting something more about this poem. Very beautiful poem. So see you in some next video. If you like this one, do not fail to hit the like button and the subscribe button, and put your comments also. I may respond to some of the comments. So far, thank you for watching. Hope to see you in some next video. Till that time, keep loving, keep happy, keep peaceful.